Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the North Brunswick Township Board of Education Conference Public Meeting. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, and we are here at North Brunswick Township Middle School. Could we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Carter.
Here.
Ms. Cepeda.
Here.
Ms. James.
Here.
Mr. Liguori. Dr. Patel.
Here.
Mr. Singh.
Here.
Ms. Sinha. Ms. Toth.
Here.
And Mr. Wen.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, was distributed by 3 p.m. on Wednesday, January 28, 2026, in the following manner. Posted on the bulletin board reserved for announcements in the board office, 25 Linwood Place, North Brunswick. Mailed to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, NJ.com, and the clerk of the Township of North Brunswick. Delivered to the 9 duly elected board members. And beginning March 1st, 2026, all future board meeting notices shall be published on the board's official website, www.nbtschools.org, and be made available through the New Jersey Secretary of State's official website in lieu of publication in a newspaper in accordance with PL 2025C.72. Well, good evening, everyone. It's good to see everyone this evening. We're full swing into the spring season, and on our road show, which we like to call it, we are at North Brunswick Township Middle School. So I thank Mr. Solover and his team for having us here this evening in your beautiful building. We are looking forward to your presentation. Before I turn it over to you, though, I'll turn it over to Superintendent Zakowski.
Thank you, Madam President, and welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here, especially our students after a long day. We look forward to hearing your performance, and also we look forward to Mr. Solover kind of capturing the state of the state of the school. But just a side note, it was a wonderful performance of The Wizard of Oz, and it was the first time since 4 years ago when I had left the district, and I was able to come in and see a performance and get on stage during the National Junior Honor Society. So it's great to be on this stage after all the hard work, many years, and dedication of our board members, our staff, and really, I'm very pleased to see how it's one thing building a new school, but to execute what needs to be done within the school, and for students to learn and prosper. So I want to thank you and your team, and I certainly look forward to hearing the state of the school, my first time as the superintendent on this brand new stage. So, Mr. Solover, thank you.
Yeah. Would you mind if we sat in the
the
audience? Perfect. Thank you.
You want to get up first? You go first.
Okay, good evening, members of the Board of Education, Superintendent Zakowski, Assistant Superintendent Kita, Dr. Ellis. We welcome you to NBTMS. We are happy to have you here tonight and kind of show you what we're all about once again. But first, we would like to lead off with our national anthem as performed by a member of the NBTMS chorus, Connor Chan. Connor, would you come up? Would you please rise for the national anthem?
Oh, Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Connor. Just a word about Connor, who is, how many instruments do you play? How many? 6. 6 instruments. He sings. You're a competitive swimmer. You're in our honor society, right? And I knew I had a friend when he told me his hero was Eddie Van Halen. I'm like, yes, finally. So anyway, thank you again, Connor. And now, to entertain you with the Beatles classic Get Back, the NBTMS Wind Ensemble under the direction of Mr. Chris English. Thank you, Mr. English. And now we have a little video for you that was made by our video production class. Uh-oh. This worked before. That might be what it is. And here she comes. In the meantime, I'm going to riff, okay? The next slide after this is a copy of the district's mission statement, okay? Now, you all know what that says. We all know what that says. We really didn't feel the need to write our own. I don't know that we could say anything better than what the board has, okay? But we do have a philosophy that I share with the staff every year, okay? And it's very simple, and it comes down to just some simple words, okay? The first thing is safety, okay? Without a safe school, we've got nothing. All right, that's the first thing. Everyone needs to feel safe and at home in this building. Second is comfortable. All right, and that might be an unorthodox word to use to describe a school, but I firmly believe if you do not feel at least a little bit at home in your school, whether you're a student or a staff member, you can't do your best work. All right, so we want to be safe, we want to be comfortable. Third, we want to be highly productive. I would love if we were all high honor roll every year, every marking period. That's not realistic. Some kids struggle. But we want to make sure we're moving the needle with as many kids as possible. That, to me, that's a highly productive school, okay? And then the last one is enjoyable, okay? I don't want anyone to feel like coming to school or coming to work is a bed of nails, all right? I want people to enjoy themselves while they're here, all right? So that's my philosophy. Safe, comfortable, highly productive, and enjoyable. When we've got that rolling, we've got a good school, okay? The other thing that's on there is a picture of a chessboard, and that's because the other thing I do believe is that running a school is kind of like playing chess in that every day you're trying to move as many pieces, as many spaces as you can. Some days you move several pieces, several spaces. Some days it feels like you moved one, but you're always trying to move them, as many as you can, all right? And I think we all feel that way. All right. Moving on to academics. And one thing I did want to mention, because we don't have a picture of it, but when you came in, or perhaps when you leave, you might notice there's some student artwork posted in the hallway out there. All right, some of that was posted at the district art show just a few weeks ago, but we do have a studio art class for our more advanced art students. They do some exceptional work, so please check it out on your way out if you didn't see it on your way in. Okay. How we doing? Okay, you know what? We'll just go back to it. Just go back to, no, that's right, just go back to the presentation. Yeah, no problem. My apologies. I will share the video link with Dr. Z's office, and then we'll get that out to you. They did a great job. They really did a neat job interviewing students and staff about, you know, what they like about the school and so forth. So they did a good job. We will get it to you. The teacher who shared it with me gave access to me, but she's the one who's logged in here for the presentation. So, would you prefer we take a minute and see it? Okay, all right. All right, we will do that then. Yeah. Sure.
Oh, you don't need to put at NBT schools.
Oh.
Yeah. And the next screen, you want to put your entire email. Yeah.
record, if you'll indulge me for just a second. I know Dr. Zukowski, and I know Mr. LaGroy, a few others along the way have probably met my father, right? Obviously, he had his business in town for many years, retired just a couple of years ago, and did a lot for the community while he lived in town. He's going to be 90 in 2 days, right? So, put that on record. This way I can say, see, Dad, I got you something. Okay, here we go. Thank you.
Do you want me to stay to help me get back on?
What I love about NBTMS is how the teachers are so supportive and the school is very organized.
What I like about NBTMS is the schools, the teachers, and all the sports teams, and the education I get.
I'm thankful for NBTMS's teachers and sports.
I'm grateful for my wrestling coach because he was able to teach me how to do wrestling.
I love the kids, I love my colleagues, I love that it's brand new, I love that it's a fun place to work. I have fun with kids, I have fun with my colleagues. It's great.
Yeah, I just like the relationships we get to have with students.
I like the kids, I like the teachers, I think it's a great environment.
Are you gonna miss us when we go to high school?
I am. I think about that all the time.
The community, everybody's really nice.
I like that there is a lot of diversity and a lot of different types of classes and electives that students can really grow here.
How has your experience been here at NBTMS?
It's been fun. Learned a lot of things, in and out of class.
What's your favorite subject at NBTMS? World history. Teachers helped you here at NBTMS.
Teachers at NBTMS give me the resources I need to do good.
What's your favorite part about coaching at NBTMS?
My favorite part about coaching at NBTMS is just working with all the tremendous athletes that we have here. Some of our best student athletes are the type that are growing and developing not only as students but as athletes, and just watching them do that change throughout a season is truly remarkable and a lot of fun.
How have you grown at NBTMS?
I think I've grown so far by friendships, the teachers, how everybody helps each other, and we all work together.
Ms. Brown, what's your favorite thing about working at NBTMS?
I would say my favorite thing about working here is getting to work alongside the teachers that used to teach me as a kid.
What will you miss about this? What do you have? 5 years and a half. This is your time. Have a good day.
Okay, so I took us past that already. All right. Now, academics is the best place to start. If we talk about NJSLA, which is the elephant in the room, okay, of course we know our scores continue to be an issue, but there are some things I would like to share with you, okay? Over the last 3 years, we have seen growth in 12 out of 18 tests. How do we get to 18 tests? We're tested in 6 areas a year. All right, so 6 for 3 years. 12 out of 18, we have seen scores improve. Our greatest losses, and I dug through a lot of research to see this, right? Our biggest losses in 4 out of those 6 tests occurred during the pandemic, okay? There was one test in particular where we lost 34 points. That's a ton. We are working our way back. 4 out of 6 are now within 5 percentage points of their pre-COVID numbers, all right? And 1 of the 6 has stayed high all the way through, all right? So we're getting there. We're not where we want to be. We have a ways to go. We know it. We're working on it, okay? How are we working on it? Well, as you know, this year we have a PLC reboot going on, which we're working on. Matter of fact, we have an appointment tomorrow regarding that, and kind of getting back to basics and retooling how our PLCs meet, what they work on, what they talk about, and keeping it focused on student achievement. In this building, we did a lesson planning revision this year because we felt that some staff kind of needed a refresher on that, and specifically targeting not just what it was they were teaching, but transitions between different phases of a lesson and so on, and that does seem to bore some fruit this year. If you've heard the name of Savannah Flakes, she is a fantastic consultant when it comes to differentiated instruction. differentiated instruction. She was here for the second time this year. She did a 3-day residency with us last month, which was really, really great, and we're looking to have her back next year. Just today, you might know that we use the Marshall system for our observations, teacher observations. Kim Marshall, the father of that, was here today to work with our admin team to tighten up and give us a refresher on teacher observations. And you will hear in a little bit how we have adopted the SAVAS program, or we're piloting the SAVAS program in ELA, and the Desmos curriculum in math is in its first full year, and we're hoping to see some good results from that as well. Also our data teams, okay, which I couldn't fit up there, but we have our data teams which meet several times during the year to look at student data and achievement and see what strategies we can employ to improve achievement. Okay, but over a third of the building is on the honor roll or the high honor roll, all right, so 250 students doing very, very well. We just had our Honor Society inductions last week. I know some of you were here, which is always a great night, and we always have honor roll assemblies where kids receive a certificate so that they do know that we're paying attention to the good work that they're doing. Okay, attendance and conduct. Right now, over the last 2 years, we've had a 31% reduction in disciplinary referrals, okay? We've had a 17% drop in suspensions. At this point, chronic absenteeism has dropped over the last 2 years from 14% to 10.5%. The asterisk is because it's April. In June, it might be 12. We'll see. You know, people want to take a beach day, so we'll see. Why? Counseling, mentoring, restorative practices, okay? The Yonder pouches have been a big help. It's not a perfect answer, but it's a very good answer. I'll put it that way, okay? We've increased family outreach. And I'm not going to lie, we created a school schedule, which I think I told you about last year, that is rather innovative for the middle school level, but it allows us to do a lot, okay? Students who need intervention, for example, in both math and ELA can have both starting in September for almost the whole year to help with their test scores. It allows us to offer 2 different layers of intervention for kids who need more intense remediation than others. It gives us room for mandated courses without us having to impede on other curricula. So the best example is when the state mandated civics. A lot of districts tried to cram it into social studies, which is very difficult to do. We opted not to do that and make it a standalone class, and that has really paid off. It allows students to pursue more than one music class. That is very important to me. My sister, who's now a retired music teacher, she was one of the reasons I became a teacher, okay? And between she and just knowing our music department and knowing the kids in our music department, I know that in this age where we're talking about social emotional learning, hundreds of kids find their home in the music department, right? And if there's a kid who is multi-talented, like Connor, who can play more than one instrument or wants to play an instrument and sing, now, for the first time in my career, 28 years, they can take band and chorus. We can fit them both in, all right? Allows for support classes such as our AVID program and our physics fundamentals to give kids a little boost if they're in our physics program. And it also provides for some very good high interest and high end electives such as data science, our STEM ACES program, TV production, which you just saw. We now have an intro to theater course and, as I said, our advanced art studio. Okay, some more good news. Our support person of the year and our teacher of the year, Jeffrey Maracha on the left, who's our retired police officer, who does a really, really great job, and Danielle Tamarana, who's a 7th grade science teacher and wears many, many hats. I don't want to say more than that because I'm going to talk about her next week. So both of them, actually. So. And Jeff's here. I don't want him to get a swelled head. So. Okay, some other types of recognition, right? On the top right is a small plastic football. I have dozens of those, all right? They are staff game balls. I give those out at faculty meetings, okay? I don't pick who gets them. The staff does, okay? They nominate people, and then I draw from a hat, all right? And I pick the winner, and then I read the rest, okay? Make sure everyone gets their due credit. But at just about every staff meeting, someone gets a game ball, right? And I do see them when I go around classrooms posted, you know, in a mug or something like that, all right? We also have a staff shout-out board where they can write messages to each other, congratulating them on certain things or, you know, calling out good work that they've done. But for the students, I ordered hundreds of these wristbands on the top left side, okay? And my goal was, if you remember, I'm sure you've been to Disney World, right? And you know the pins that everybody gets, and then you have to trade, blah, 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 right? I wanted something like that, and the pins are too expensive, but the wristbands are cheap, okay? So I have several of those and I give them out to kids. For example, all the leads from the play got a wristband, okay? Connor, you have one, right? Okay. So you're going to get another one, too, for Honor Society. But, you know, kids who had a great season in a particular sport, team captain, we had a county champ in wrestling, whether it be academic things or just leadership in the building, kids get them. I have one kid who's up to 4. All right, he was just here, actually. And what I was hoping for is to see them wearing them and accumulating them, right? And I am starting to see that around the building, which is a really great thing. Here's a little proof, okay? That is the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow proudly showing their wristbands, by the way, and up on the right. On the right is Bryce. What can you say about Bryce? Bryce is an 8th grader who's running for mayor already, all right? He's one of those kids. But I do see kids wearing them around the school, and it's a really, really great thing. So I'm happy about that. A couple things. Our music program, of course, we had our winter concerts. On the bottom right, our strings program took a trip to Lincoln Center. I chaperoned that. That was an executive decision because you don't often get to hear the New York Philharmonic for free, so I was not passing that up. And then bottom left, we had several students make our regional chorus and band, all right? And our concerts are in 2 weeks, right? Our band concert is the week of the 11th, and chorus and strings is the following week. As Dr. Z said, the Wizard of Oz was just here. Oz is still back there, actually. Just almost 2 weeks ago, and those are our advanced art students who had a field trip to Middlesex County College to an art fair, a teen art fair, where their work was critiqued by professional artists, so a really, really great opportunity. Okay, toy drive. We do some charitable work around here, too. We always do a food drive around the Super Bowl, right? And we always do a toy drive around the holidays in conjunction with the police. There's a picture of that. And on the right, one of our greatest things is our Raider Ready Cafe, where I think I sent this to you in one of my weekly highlights, where our self-contained classes brew coffee every Tuesday and sell it to staff for $1 a cup. It's life skills for the kids in those classes, and it's a hit, and it really kind of makes everybody's day, you know, so. And actually, Dr. Z bought a cup not too long ago when he was here. So. But yeah. Okay, with that, I'm going to pass it over to the rest of the crew. First up, Drea Lamager, who's our math and science supervisor, who will walk you through what's going on in those departments. Want it in here?
No, I'll hold it. I'm going to put these down on the table.
Gotcha.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here this evening. I have 2 slides to go through some updates with the mathematics program at the middle school and also the science program. I am extremely excited to talk about the Amplified Desmos math program that is in its inaugural year with full implementation here at the middle school. There's a pretty staggering statistic for the first bullet that we've completed over 66,000 touch points and data collection points of measurable growth that we're seeing in the activities that are completed here. And many of them are reaching over 85% as far as exceeding expectations when the work is being submitted for us to review and reflect on with our PLCs. And so we are very excited to see where this program continues to take us, and we are really diving into it. I'd also like to say that it's important for us to have honest conversations. It's important for us to have tough conversations, but many of our conversations ultimately end up with aha moments of, wow, now I see where this is going and how powerful this has been. And the reflection of the staff in acknowledging the amount of growth that has happened with the grit and the perseverance of sticking with the program and doing the work in the classroom with the teachers has just been wonderful to see this year. Building Thinking Classrooms is a continuum. It's really, in simply terms, getting students up and active and doing some vertical math, getting them at boards and groups and solving problems together just to change up the pace every once in a while. As of yesterday, we've completed 5 competitions here in the math program. We did the AMC 10 to kick off this year, the AMC 8, the NJML 7 and 8, and yesterday we finished up with the Algebra 1 competition, and all of the students are receiving results in classrooms as we get them finalized, and they'll also be recognized later this June at our STEM Parent Evening. Our Amped in Algebra with the manufacturing, processing, engineering, and design process, I want to show you one of the most successful products that we have had, and the run this year is that they have developed and designed new swag for the school. So if I could just show you a couple of those pieces really quick, I'd really appreciate that. I'm going to go without the mic, if that's okay. All right. So one of the biggest things is the phrase "fear the clause" that a lot of the students have really taken ownership of, and they have lots of different color combinations, but all of the designs that they have done, they've come up with on their own. So they have worked on the design process and engineering design, processing and working with the companies to get the actual cuts on the vinyl, to be able to press everything on the machinery that we have in the classrooms. From start to finish, this is 100% student driven. Also with calculating what the cost would be, the break even, when we'll turn a profit, and this one I love. And I am looking forward to probably getting this one as well. I ordered the white shirt, but I like on the hood, you get some of the claw designs there, and then the logo again on the back. So it's starting to go out to staff, and we'll be sharing more, but we wanted to get them some hands-on practice before we scaled up even more. So they're all very excited about this, and you can see it on the students' faces, and they're hyping it up too. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Sounds great. And lastly, but not least, we're continuing with data-driven intervention services. That's a continuum that carries really from the beginning all the way through to the end of the year, and cycling through the students through the needs that they have to receive. Professionally, we're continuing with the math coach on a couple of topics that we really worked on together last year, and delivering to the staff this year to turnkey productive struggle and the power of mistakes. Productive struggle is something that goes beyond just math. It's a transferable skill, that learning to recognize that it's okay to feel uncomfortable, that your point A to your point B and the path in the middle to get there is going to be a little bit different from everyone, and just providing that opportunity to allow it to be messy in between. The New Jersey Tiered System Support with the data team, we're really looking at spending some time with the students on getting them to acknowledge and understand really what their growth and achievement is. So we will be doing some turnkey presentations to the students as well, and learning how to set goals that are long-range goals for where they would start the beginning of the school year to where they would finish the school year. And also continuing with vertical articulation for all of the courses that lend to the middle grades 5 through 8 that are shared with Rising, and where we're sending students with students in this building. And the first promo, STEM Parent Academy, June 4th, 3:30 p.m. We will be here. For science, as far as our academics, our favorite thing that we've focused on this year is writing in the classroom. Anytime that you're working in the sciences and collecting information, that information has to be learned how to be shared. So through informative tasks and informative writing, we find that we are stretching their ability to communicate the information that they are looking at. And we're also doing what we think is great work to let them realize that writing is going to be something that they will have to continue no matter what field of work that they are in. Executive functioning skills is something we started last year, but that we're focusing on again this year with having organized notebooks and making sure that they're doing the practices that help prepare them for any role in the future. Hands-on lab experience is something that we want the students to feel that they are able to get out from behind the book or out from behind the screen and do real-life science in the classroom. But with that being said, the first thing professionally that we focus on every year is making sure that the staff is trained and the students are trained on safety in the classroom with the safety contracts and making sure that we take a look at the hazard communications and PIASH each year. Writing in the science classroom was a professional development course that we delivered to the staff. Productive struggle, in addition to the practice of it, was also received by the staff as far as professional development. And as Mr. Slover mentioned, all staff participated with the differentiated instruction in the sciences with Savannah Flakes this year. And the science department's role as far as the Tier 1 intervention plan and making sure that we are supporting the math department with fluency practices, we also do so in interpretation of data. And second and final plug is that we will be having our STEM Parent Evening on June 4th at 3:30 p.m. here, and we hope to see you. Thanks so much. Coming up next is Dr. Alexis Rich with the Supervisor of Special Services.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to talk a little bit about special services at North Brunswick Township Middle School. We focus on the whole child, and what's really cool as the kids get older is that in addition to their academic growth and interventions and monitoring, we include community-based experiences and we work on building independence and life skills. We really talk with them and focus on functional skills in addition to their academic skills. And this supports their transition as they get older. We focus a lot on social skills instruction, social emotional learning, and growth. Additionally, at the middle school, we have it's newer. It's a multisensory reading instruction program that's tiered now to better service our students with multisensory reading support. And we offer flexible programming based on students' individualized needs. This year in professional learning for the Special Services Department, we focused on a lot of inclusive practices in the area of behavior, academics, and executive functioning. We've been working closely with, or I've been working closely with Ms. Dwyer and Ms. Lamagra as we've been working with our new curriculum. For special ed teachers, we continue to provide IEP development, professional learning, and progress monitoring professional learning for them. And we focus heavily on executive functioning in our department. Through the Building and the District Thrive initiative, we are very proud that we offer mental health screeners, and we use this data to really work with our students. Our counselors are amazing in taking groups and providing the social emotional learning support for our kids through our mental health interventions. Additionally, we pride ourselves on our collaboration. At our level, the kids see a lot of different teachers, and we have multiple stakeholders involved in decision making for our kids. And we really do a nice job of taking a multidisciplinary approach to individualized program. And finally, we love our special education coach who provides support for our special education teachers in the area of differentiation and co-teaching. Thank you so much. And up next is Ms. Dwyer.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here this evening. So the big update in our ELA department is that we were recipients of the Impact Grant. So this summer, Dr. Zykowski spoke to Mrs. Chang and myself about applying for the Impact Grant, which basically affords additional funding to school districts dependent on size to support new ELA materials that are considered high quality instructional materials as deemed by the state. So we applied and we were very fortunate to be recipients. So we received about $200,000 to support the implementation of new curricular materials for ELA, both here at the middle school and down at Linwood. So we formed a task force, which was representative of central office administration, building administration, and teachers across both buildings. And we had a visit from one of the people who's leading the grant at the New Jersey Department of Education. She was very highly impressed with the preparation and professionalism of our team, the research that we did prior to even seeing the vendor presentations, and she was particularly impressed with our attire, which I found kind of funny. We were all very dressed up. She told us she was going to take pictures, and she said not everybody gets dressed up, and I was surprised because why would you not get dressed up for pictures with the Department of Education? But she was very impressed with us. So 15-1, so we almost had a unanimous consensus, but we ended up piloting the program called SAVIS. So in 5th grade, it's called My View here, and in the 6th grade over at Linwood, it is called My Perspectives. So it's largely student-centered learning. There's an increase in a student accountability. There is certainly a heightened sense of rigor in the work that we're asking our students to do, more accountable talk, and increased engagement in student learning. So in 2 weeks, I will reconvene our task force for final feedback and to make a recommendation to Dr. Zajkowski and the Board of Education moving forward. But so far, the feedback that I've gotten from students and staff alike in the pilot classrooms has been overwhelmingly positive. The students are more engaged in the work they're doing in class. The volume of reading has increased. The speed and effectiveness of their communication and writing has improved. Kind of a sidebar, I've gotten a lot of teachers that have said because of the pace of the curriculum, students are out of their seats less often and like in the hallways for bathroom usage, which seems like, you know, an extra benefit, but it's really important that we're keeping them in their seats in class. So very excited about this initiative and looking forward to the task force meeting in a couple of weeks. To complement that, we're continuing with the Writing Revolution, which is science of writing instruction, where it's direct instruction, helping students to improve their organization and communication of their writing skills. As Mrs. Lamagra said, it's really important to us that literacy is built across the student's school day. So having common terminology across subject areas has been really critical for us. So the Writing Revolution, and you'll see on the social studies slides also, has been an initiative that we've implemented in both of our departments. We've done a lot of work in our PLCs. We're very fortunate to have protected time in our school day calendar where our teachers can meet with their colleagues and collaborate. We're able to analyze data, both data like MAP assessments and NJSLA assessments, but also just the formative assessments we give day to day so that we can continuously monitor the kind of instruction we're giving and how we can help both our whole classes and small groups of students. In those situations, we're also able to work on differentiating both the process that students are going through to learn, since all of our students kind of learn in unique and different ways, and the products that they're producing to show whether or not they're making progress academically. We've had a little bit of a change in the ELA PLCs because there are days devoted to the teachers who are piloting the new program, their collaboration, and then collaboration with the teachers who are in the existing curriculum as well. We're continuing to use MEMBEAM, which is an adaptive vocabulary program. Research says that one of the biggest hindrances to student reading comprehension is their lack of vocabulary. So this is an adaptive program, so it meets students where their vocabulary is at currently. It builds in morphology, and then it engages students because there's video clips and podcast clips, there's social media references, things to engage students to make vocabulary instruction more interesting for them. And then lastly, we've done a lot of work to offer intervention services for our students who struggle. There are Tier 2 and Tier 3 intervention services offered here for our students who are struggling in language arts. We use a variety of data points to determine students who need the services and then how we can best support them. It's done in class-like settings and pull-out settings. So all of those are ways that we're supporting our students who are struggling a little bit in the language arts area. So just a little highlight, we hosted a spelling bee here. I know we had our spelling bee winners at a previous Board of Education meeting. We had former teacher here, Mr. Wares, come and speak to students around coral reefs. We do a lot of climate change reading and research like across our school day, but that was a project for our 7th grade language arts students. And then we have a cross-curricular literacy night. I try to treat ELA and social studies almost as one department because we have a lot of the same goals and visions. So that was our literacy night across both departments. A quick update on social studies as well. As I said, we're continuing with our focus on infusing literacy across the school day. In your spare time, if you want to take a peek at the social studies standards and practices. The expectation for social studies is that they're doing a lot of the work that years ago was previously only the responsibility in language arts classes. So figuring out main ideas of text, citing evidence, developing claims based on their beliefs, our students' beliefs. A focus for me in our social studies department has always been fostering connections between what history was like and our lives today. We need to build the relevancy for our students that they understand why studying history is important, and drawing connections across, different periods of time. Additionally, we're so fortunate here to have so many diverse perspectives from our students. It's important that history is not just fact memorization, but understanding and hearing different perspectives from others that we might not have the same experiences, and the only way we're going to learn them is by listening to others. So we've done a lot of professional development the last few years in fostering classroom discussion so that students are more willing to talk, more willing to share their ideas, substantiate their ideas with reasons or evidence, and then fostering our students to be open-minded enough that they're hearing perspectives that are different than their own. As I said, writing, we are in year 2 of the rollout of the writing revolution across both departments. It's really helped our students that there's a common language and common expectations of what quality writing looks like, regardless of the subject that they're in. As Mrs. Lamager said, it doesn't really matter what their future holds, they will have to write and communicate well in writing. And then in the world we're living in today, making sure we're teaching students how to read with a critical eye, to ask questions of the things that they're reading about, to make informed decisions. And we want our students to know that they have a voice both here in district and in their world. So if they see something that they don't agree with or isn't right, how do they appropriately advocate for the change that they'd like to see? So we actually were fortunate enough to have Rutgers visit us again this year, and they hosted a civics fair for us to kind of continue to inform our students how they can vocalize their ideas and advocate for change when necessary. The bottom is some of our social studies stations at our literacy night, and then we were again fortunate enough to have a representative from 3GNJ, which is survivors, like grandchildren of Holocaust survivors. So we read Anne Frank and studied the Holocaust as part of our 7th grade curriculum. So she came and was able to share the experiences of her grandfather, who was a survivor of the Holocaust. That was very impactful for our students, kind of bringing the real life into our classrooms. So thank you so much. And I'd like to introduce Mrs. March, the 7th grade dean.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Mr. Feltry and I are the dean and the assistant principal of the 7th grade, so we work collaboratively in our house center. A couple things this year, we always host a 7th grade parent orientation and a student orientation. We get a pretty good turnout for students. We bus them here, so that helps. Mr. Felice, actually, he ran for us a Spanish-speaking session as well to kind of help guide those parents of Spanish-speaking homes, since our population is very large. Some highlights and special initiatives. We are once again running the Power Group. This is a combination of 7th and 8th grade students who it's a select group of students. They are there by invite based off of recommendations from our counselors, our student assistant counselor as well, and then input from the dean. But basically, it's creating or fostering a relationship between the school and the police department. So about once a month, the police department comes in and they have different conversations with the kids, talk about character education, leadership development. This year's focus, they've had a guest speaker who typically comes in on these monthly meetings and picks various topics to work on with the students. So resilience, self-awareness, and just helping bridge that gap between the school and the law enforcement in town. Actually, just last Friday, we hosted our 7th grade social, which is basically a combination of board games, card games set up in the aux gym, PE games in the regular gym. We get a DJ, we sell snacks. This year, we also invited our AMPed program to sell slushies there, which was a big hit. The line to the slushies was out the door, and the dance floor was empty. But they enjoyed the music in the background. We will be hosting a 7th grade field day once June hits, kind of as a reward for the students, just to kind of go outside. We might make it a little competitive this year, but most of the time they opt to just kind of have that free time to hang out with their friends for part of the day. And we had the high school push club come and visit the 7th grade students only. Every year, the advisor, Mr. Kopik from the high school, he'll reach out and kind of get my feedback on what do we want the topic to be. So in the past, we've done a lot of conflict resolution and building student relationships. This year, we decided, based off of our work in our behavioral data team, we decided to kind of have it function more or focus more on executive functioning skills and talking about, you know, what expectations are when you get to high school, how do you build those small habits so that you're ready when you get to the high school. And yeah, it seemed to work out well. What happens is the group from the high school, they break up into about groups of 2 or 3. They visit 19 7th grade classrooms during their life skills, and they're the ones actually presenting to the students, and then the students have the opportunity to ask them questions.
Good evening, guys. I'm going to highlight 2 components of the many programs we offer our school. First is the AVID program, which are our advancement via individual determination. It's kind of a career and more of a college readiness program where we take a small cohort of students that focus on time management, organizational skills, and what aspects of those will better prepare you for the college. And to do that, we also visit several colleges. I think this year was Rutgers, Fairleigh Dickinson, and Drew were the colleges we visited. So that program, since its initial inauguration, has grown from 2 kind of cohorts of like 15 students to 5 cohorts. So it's a very successful program and a lot of positives. And the nice thing is these are students that aren't, how do I word this, definitely defined as your typical college-ready students. So it's a very rigorous selection process where students are recommended by teachers, then interviewed by level staff members. So, and those students a lot of times turn into our student leaders here, which help support they were the main focus of our Take Your Child to Work Day, a lot of our pep rallies. So a lot of the students that are in those programs lead to success in college. And the other aspect of the program I'm talking about is athletics here. Obviously, as seen on the slideshow from our video club, a lot of students are involved in our many sports teams. We offer 15 sports teams at the middle school, and they're listed there. We offer the typical ones, you know, your baseballs, your football, the soccer, the basketball, but the big change over the recent years has been the volleyball team, both the boys and the girls volleyball team, and those have just the amount of kids. I think we had 70 try out for each of the teams, so definitely it's a very up-and-coming sport. And I think for the numbers, I think we had 440 students sign up for our sports out of the 700. Now it's overlapping the seasons. And obviously, you know, we've had some very exceptional individual accolades during the years. We had one county champion with wrestling. So we've had definitely a lot of success with our sports. And the positive of the sports is it was very important in my life. And anytime you could bring a positive of the school to a personal level, usually it translates to a more success in the school. So I obviously am very passionate about the athletics here. Next, to highlight some of our 8th grade and other school components, I'm going to bring Ms. Mayernick and Ms. Rafano, our 8th grade admin team. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
How are we switching? Just clicking? Oh, okay, great. Good evening, everybody. My name is Amy Rafano, and this is my right hand, Mrs. Michelle Marinick, or Miss Shelley as she goes, as in the hallways. We're here to just talk a little bit about our 8th grade highlights. We are very fortunate for both the North Brunswick Township High School and North Brunswick Township Middle School to collaborate in conjunction with the Municipal Alliance and work on a leadership and mentorship program. Miss Shelley actually ran it this year, where we take 25 female students They match up with 25 female students from the high school. They work together, develop connections. They do the same with 25 eighth grade males and 25 senior male students from the high school. And then the third session is when we bring all of them together, 100 of the students, and they work on these slogans and promotional campaigns for anti-drinking, anti-vaping, and things like that. They hold a contest. The winner of the campaign, then the Municipal Alliance makes a banner and they hang in all the schools, which is really positive feedback, especially when the kids go to the other schools and they see their work hanging. We have some of them in the hallway here across from the entrance to the cafeteria. This year, we're very fortunate to work with Mr. Neller at the high school. He has an advisory group of seniors, and they're going to come down and visit in June and speak to our eighth graders just about the rigors of high school, strategies, tips, insider information about how to be successful at the high school and how to deal with some of the struggles or the challenges that they may have had as freshmen there. Okay. We have our eighth grade dance on the 15th. Tickets are $15 if you're interested. We'll be selling them during lunch. We'll also have a field day where the kids will just kind of hang out. It's not competitive because the kids just want to chat and then sign yearbooks. So we try to get the yearbooks out to them in advance so that they can sit around and just enjoy each other's company. Like I mentioned, we have our semi-formal dance on the 15th. We take the kids to Eagles Landing June 5th, which is a Friday. They love it. It's this year I'm definitely going on the zip thing, the zip slide or whatever. I think a couple people are betting against me, but hopefully I'll make it. Class night, as we all know, is June 18th. I almost fell. June 18th, 4 o'clock at the high school. We're looking forward to that also. A big night for everybody, big afternoon. School-wide, we do a couple things. We replicate a couple things between 7th and 8th grade. This year, we've been very successful with our counselors pushing in lessons where they will go into an elective or a teacher may ask them to come in and present a topic about academic integrity or, competition academically, or when we have a substitute in and we have a little extra time left, the counselors can go in and rotate and push in some lessons focusing on some various topics that we feel are important to our 7th and 8th graders. We do have our peer tutoring groups that meet during the lunches, lunch A, and lunch B, and lunch C on Wednesdays and Thursdays, where we have peers helping peers. Kids tend to open up more with their peers about things that they're struggling with academically. We have our PBIS is in its full swing. It'll be its first full year at the school, and we're happy to say that 78+% of our teachers are awarding points every day. Some teachers choose to wait until midweek to award points twice a week. Sometimes they wait till the end of the week to award all their points. But we're very pleased with that 78% on a daily basis. That means they're promoting it every day in the classroom through referencing posters or just using the language in the delivery of their instruction. Expectations. By expectation, meaning are we being respectful, are we being responsible, are we being safe? You can see that we've exceeded 180,000 points in each category over the period of October through March, which is really, really strong numbers. And students have made over 1,200 purchases from our PBIS store. Either they're turning their points in to participate in activities or they're buying things, whether it's, wonky pencils or Takis. We see that they're making over 1,200 transactions, which is great. And our final PBIS event, we try to do a number of events throughout the year. We promote and participate in the pep rallies, but we also do specific PBIS events, and the next one will be June 16th, where kids can turn in their points to either play volleyball, watch a movie, do arts and crafts, do minute-to-win-it games, things like that throughout the whole day, which is really very nice. They feel very special when they get to participate in those activities. Some Title I funding events that we've had, obviously our parent academies. You can see that they vary by topic. I'm happy to point out that we've been working with NJ for Schools for the last year and a half, and they've come in addition to coming in and doing tabletops with our students during the lunch periods, they come in and help us facilitate our parent academies. We had what I think was a very successful one in February because it was Family Fun Night, and it was really great to see parents with their kids playing, which was really it was fun for me, and I think everybody enjoyed that. Obviously, Mrs. Lamagra is promoting her her June STEM Parent Evening, and I'll give it a plug too. That's always a good time. And then our social emotional learning groups, our after-school sessions, we run them for anywhere from 5 to 8 weeks. This year we had 25 students commit to the learning groups, and that was really great. We went through the 5 pillars of SEL, self-awareness, relationship skills, self-management, decision-making, and social awareness. Our Success Tutoring, which is the Title I funded program after school, it is 2 days per week for a 5-week session. We're halfway through it, and we have 17 kids committed to doing that, so it's nice small group sessions, which is great. We're going to move on to some clubs and activities. This year we have 20 clubs that are in place, exploring and experiencing art, music, robotics, community service. They're healthy competitions. Some of them have to do with nature. Our nature club is a very, very popular club, and many, many more. But we're always looking to survey the kids and find out what they're interested in. Our anime club is a very, very popular club here, and I'm happy to say that we've added the track as a club to pilot it, and we had, like Mr. Felchi says, athletics is very important here at school for some kids, and we had over 80 people sit in on the first meeting, and I think we're at about 36 to 40 kids participating in our track club, which is nice. That meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for about a month, and hopefully we'll see that continue next year. We have other activities, as mentioned, our pep rallies, attendance assemblies, the high honor roll and honor roll assemblies, and then obviously our peer tutoring that we talked about. Some other things that we've done here at the school, we were privileged to honor the Scripps Middlesex County Spelling Bee Championship for, like I said, for our county, which was nice. We had 2 of our students participate in that, so that was a nice Saturday afternoon event. Our inductees to the National Junior Honor Society, our drama club. I mentioned our NJ for Schools affiliation, which is always a very positive event for our students. And then in addition, we celebrate and promote our Week of Respect, anti-violence awareness, door decorating contests, local and county food drives, NBT Youth Alliance affiliations. So we're very much looking at the whole child, getting them involved, not only in academics, but in other aspects that makes us all strong human beings. On the horizon, we have our spring concert, May 12th and 18th, 8th grade awards, June 15th, upcoming athletic events, and obviously the grand event, class night, June 18th at 4 p.m. Doors open at 3. But that's all. But thank you so much for your support, your funding, your faces, your presence. It means a lot to us, and it means a lot to the kids that see you. So I thank you very much. And now back to Mrs. Slover.
Thank you. All right. We're almost done. In addition to that, one thing we started a couple years, our PTSO started this a couple years ago, and that's a Mother's Day weekend car wash on Saturday. So from 9 to 12 out front. I mean, that's a great gift for mom. So come by for a donation. You get your car washed, and off you go. Bring a clean car home to mom. 9th, I believe. It's Saturday the 9th, okay? All right, so there's the crew, all right? That's our way of saying thank you for all that you do, which allows us to do what we do, which is what we love, okay? Yes, I was on the roof, all right? What's that? Well, I was careful, I'll put it that way. So, but anyway, but we had a lot of fun with it, I got to tell you. But anyway, honestly, I think several of you have heard me say before that, middle school's never been easy, not when I was a kid, right? And when you add the pressures of today, you almost wonder how kids make it and how so many thrive. It's almost a miracle, with what's in the world today. But as always, I think I've said this every time we've had this meeting. Number one, we're not a perfect school, but we're trying, all right? And I think you can see that. But then the other thing, and I say this at every orientation, right? If we could all pick an age to go back to, no one would pick 12, right? So when you think about middle school or you hear things about middle school, just remember that about the kids, right? Okay. I think that's about it. Once again, thank you all for everything. We appreciate your support. Thank you for being here tonight. And hope we didn't keep you too long. I know you have an agenda to get to, so thank you again.
Madam President, may I?
Sure.
First, we want to thank you on behalf of the board, Mr. Slover, your wonderful team. I think you said it very well about the challenges of middle school. I like to say yesterday's high school is today's middle school, because with the influence of media, social media, electronics, our virtual world, our children sometimes are forced to be exposed to things that may be in conflict with what we were used to when we were all growing up. But I just want to say what a wonderful job of the state of the school, very clear, concise. I know you could have had this probably another 4 hours, 5 hours, right? Just really going into detail. So I really love the highlights, but I do want to thank the focus of your presentation was everything was centered around the students. It was very, very clear that they were in the middle and the spokes went out from there. So educating the whole child has never been more important in the middle school years. And when this was designed by the board, this organizational design, we really wanted it to be uplifting to motivate students to continue their, their pathway when they went to the high school and all the great offerings. And certainly you've done a wonderful job. We know we have miles to go before we sleep, but that's, I think I made that up, so don't tell Robert Frost. But the miles to go certainly is a great place to start here. So we thank you for that. Thank you for your leadership. And I'll certainly ask board members if they have any questions or comments, because I just think it was a very, very well done presentation about what's going on here on a daily basis.
Anyone from the board?
Sure.
Yes, please, Mr. Wen.
I'm just wearing another hat of mine. Your students here are phenomenal. I have quite a number of 7th and 8th grade volunteers at Buddy Ball, and they are phenomenal. And we just really, it's great to see their growth as people, in terms of how they treat others and even earn, leadership positions within Buddy Ball as well. So really just thank you so much for leading these students and as they grow and mature. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, go ahead. On behalf of the board, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Slover, Mr. Feltry, Mr. Fano, and your entire team. It's absolutely evident that you all care about the whole child and all of the students that walk through the halls of this beautiful building. Obviously, being on the other side of things, being on the board and going through my schooling in North Brunswick, it's so amazing to see so many of the different things that are now offered to the students of this day and age versus 15, 16, 17 years ago. I've shared this before, but for those of you that don't know, my mom was a middle school 7th grade language arts teacher in East Brunswick for many years, and I always said to her, how did you do it? How do you do it? 7th grade, it's like Mr. Slover said, it's an interesting age, obviously, and she loved it. She took so much pride in it. I think I tease her that she, still misses it to this day. She retired after 37 and a half years in East Brunswick, and I think that her care for the students every day when she was teaching them inside, outside of the school building was so evident. So to see that in my own home, but also through all of you, it definitely means so much, especially, having previous relationships with some of my past teachers that are sitting over there. So thank you so much for having us here, and really appreciate your time tonight. Anyone? All right, well, we have a couple of things to get to on our agenda. We hopefully won't be too much longer, but we have a couple of items of business to get to. Item number 6, we will review our agenda for our Wednesday, May 6, 2026 meeting, which is 1 week from today over at the Board of Education office. So we have been provided a paper copy. We can start on page 1. We have a couple of presentations next week, which is obviously exciting. And then jumping on to page 2 and 3, these are our students that are being honored for the with winter athletics. Pages 4 and 5, we will have a public hearing on the final 2026-2027 budget, which is listed on pages 4 and going on to page 5. And board members, please feel free to stop me or, ask me to pause if there's any comments or questions on anything. All right, we can jump to page 6 and 7, where we have our regular board business that we attend to. And then jumping on to page 7, we go down to our consent agenda and starting with personnel. Personnel goes through pages 8, page 9, page 10, pages 11 and 12. I think the page numbers just need to be edited as well, but that's okay. Yep, that's why we do this.
The Nixon White House, missing a few.
Yeah. So if you flip, it says 14 and 11, we'll get that fixed. We continue with personnel. All right, page 12 and 15. Yep, no worries. Everything looks and is listed fine. We just have to fix up the page numbers. Pages 16 and 17, we start with curriculum and instruction. And that continues on to page 18 and 19. At the bottom of page 19.
And Madam President, I just
Yes.
wanted to highlight this year's spring conference. We're very happy that North Brunswick will be presenting in 2 separate conferences. Jen Ashentino in AI, as you know, she's our supervisor of technology, and Dr. Rich, she was just here. She's also will be going and presenting in a statewide leadership conference that hosted by the Superintendent's Association.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for highlighting that. And that is on pages 16 and 17. Finishing up on page 19, we move to miscellaneous. And then 20 and 21, we get into finance. We can jump to pages 22 and 23. And then we wrap up on pages 24 and 25. And then lastly, page 26, where we have our closed session items listed. And that pretty much wraps up everything. So that is our agenda, our draft agenda for May 6th of 2026. At this time, we'll jump to item 7 back on our regular agenda for tonight's meeting, and we'll have a public session on agenda items only. If anyone from the public would like to speak on agenda items only, this is now the time to do so. We just ask that you come to the podium, state your name, and you'll be given 3 minutes. Seeing and hearing none, can we please have a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? This session is closed.
Thank you. We have a motion this evening. Vice President James, would you take item 9?
Sure, happily. I move to approve the following curriculum and instruction items. To approve Michael Kim Marshall, educational consultant, to provide a full-day workshop on teacher supervision, coaching and evaluation on April 29th, 2026, not to exceed $1,600, for which that funding is Title I grant funded.
Can we have a second?
Second.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Wen. I'm going to take roll call on this one. Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Cepeda?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Singh?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Mr. Wen?
Yes.
This is approved.
Thank you. And at this time, we'll have a public session on any matter. If anyone from the public would like to address the board on any matter, this is now the time. We just ask that you come up, state your name, and you'll be given 3 minutes. Okay. Seeing and hearing none, can I please have a...
Anything, Doc? No?
Seeing and hearing none, can I have a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was second?
Jason Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. I couldn't hear you. All in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? This session is closed.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move to go into closed session. Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presented exist. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the North Brunswick Township Board of Education that the public shall be excluded from discussion of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as followed. Personnel matters. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately. Can we just have someone make the motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Session is closed.
Thank you.
You can head on down to the
Okay, thank you, everyone. We are just going to return to open session. Can we please have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We're back in session.
All right, thank you, everyone, and thank you to NBTMS for having us this evening. We look forward to seeing everyone next week at our regular public meeting back at the board office, where we have some exciting recognitions. So can we please have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We are adjourned,
Thank
8:48.
you.